What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a Friday edition of Mile High Hockey. The Avalanche are the hottest team in the NHL right now. Winners again last night against the Buffalo Sabres. But Drew, I got to start with the question that I think Avalanche fans are kind of thinking about. Is there a goalie controversy in Colorado after Jared Bednar said last night he didn't love Mackenzie Blackwood's game against the Buffalo Sabres?
Yeah, well, I don't know if controversy is the right word, because I'll be honest, I'm not even sure there's really a long discussion to be had about it, because I think, you and I have kind of talked a little bit about this over the last couple of days. And I go back to last weekend and knowing that they had a back-to-back in Edmonton and Vancouver. And I kind of thought all along who started which game was going to kind of determine what this goaltending situation was going to be like for the at least near future. And we saw Saturday night going up against Edmonton, it was Scott Wedgwood. Sunday night going up against a lesser team, it was Mackenzie Blackwood. Then we see it again this week with, the Anaheim game, the number one, number two teams in the entire NHL. You saw Scott Wedgwood get the call in between the pipes last night. The Avalanche taking on a awful Buffalo Sabres team, and it's Mackenzie Blackwood. And so I think we've reached a point, in fact, we've probably been at this point really since Blackwood's come back, that Scott Wedgwood is the very clear number one goaltender for the Colorado Avalanche right now. Now, does that mean that it's going to stay this way throughout the rest of the regular season? Probably not. My money would be on no, that's probably not going to be how it's going to go. But based on the play of these two goaltenders so far, I mean, Blackwood's played 3 games. He has given up 7 goals in those 3 games. Last night against a bad Buffalo Sabres team, he got 3 goals on his first 12 shots. I thought there was going to be a decent chance he was going to get pulled in that hockey game if he'd have given up 1 more goal. So just the way that these two guys have played, Wedgwood he's earned the right. I mean, he's been fantastic this year. He's got a 913 save percentage. You look at Blackwood, he's got an 870 save percentage. So it's not even really comparable, but this is what the situation that they're in. It actually allows them to just play the hot goaltender, ride the Scott Wedgwood, hotness train, however you want to say it, as long as you possibly can, because who knows? Scott Wedgwood, has he ever been a number one starter in his life? No, not really. So how long can this last? I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. But for right now, I think it's pretty clear that Scott Wedgwood is the man.
Yeah, and Wedgwood obviously got extended yesterday. That was kind of the big Avs news of the day. He gets a new contract, but you say, you're not sure it's a controversy. Like, they paid Mackenzie Blackwood to be a number one. And then when the head coach comes out and says, yeah, I didn't love his performance. I mean, I got to be honest with you, Drew. I do think it's a controversy here, especially because Scott Wedgwood has been so good. Like, the playoffs are a long ways away. We know that. But at the same time, I do wonder, like, if you had to play a game 1 tomorrow, would it be Scott Wedgwood, not Mackenzie Blackwood? And to me, that is kind of the definition of a controversy.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look, especially if you factor the money, yes, that is a controversy. I mean, you're paying Mackenzie Blackwood $5 million plus to be the number one goaltender. But this to me just kind of speaks of the frailty of the position, because we see this a lot of times with goaltenders. Unless you are, one of the top 2 or 3 elite goaltenders in the NHL, you tend to ride a roller coaster year in and year out.
Right.
You're great one year, you take a fall the next year, and that kind of seems to be what Mackenzie Blackwood is doing. And I know some people want to maybe say that, health is possibly a reason for it. He even said it last night. He's like, no, I'm fully healthy. I feel good. He's just rusty. He needs to get some work under his belt. And that to me is where it kind of gets a little bit tricky, because he's not going to really get a lot of time to kind of get right if he's not getting the number one starts. This is an Avs team that doesn't practice a whole heck of a lot. There's not a lot of practice time in the middle of the season. So where is he going to get to a point where he can knock this rust off? To me, that's kind of the worrisome part, because I think you're right. If we go into round 1 of the playoffs right now, I don't think there's any question Scott Wedgwood is the number one goaltender. And that, I think, because when we've talked before about some of the things that can derail this team, I don't know if this is something that can necessarily derail him, but it's a cause for concern, just because we haven't seen Scott Wedgwood do this enough on a consistent basis to go in saying, all right, you know what? We put our full trust in Scott Wedgwood in a playoff series, in a best-of-7 situation. We just don't know, because we haven't seen it before. With Mackenzie Blackwood, guess what? Here's the reality. We haven't seen it from him either. Right. So, I mean, last year against Dallas, yeah, he played, but we haven't seen him do the things in play. Last year was his first playoff series. So that still, I think when we talk about some of the questions on this team, that is a question for this team moving forward is, can we fully rely on both these goaltenders once we get to April of next year?
All right, other big takeaways from last night. Obviously, the Avalanche did win. It's funny we're talking about a goalie controversy when they have the most points in the NHL. What did you see against the Sabres, or go back to the Ducks on Tuesday? Like, they are steamrolling right now. There's no question about that.
Yeah, they really are. And that Sabres game last night for me, it was kind of one of those games. It looked like a game that was hard to get up for, because that Anaheim game the other night, that meant a heck of a lot more. You're on national TV. You're playing one of the top teams in the league this year, trying to kind of prove a point like, hey, Anaheim, this is awesome what you guys are doing. It's a cute little story, but we're the big dogs on the block here.
Right.
We've been there. We've done that. We're still the team to beat in this league. So then you go out on a Thursday night against the worst team in the league in Buffalo, a team that, by the way, is missing 3, 4, 5 their top players, if you want to call them their top players, not their great players, but guys that are key cogs in that lineup. That looked like a game that was hard to get up for. But I think there was a couple things that stood out for me. Obviously, Marty Necas having a really nice night, 2 goals. Then he gets the big assist at the end where he could have been incredibly selfish. Passes off to Gabe Landeskog, so Gabe gets his first goal of the season or second goal of the season at that point. It's cool to see the unselfishness of this team, and Marty Necas being unselfish like that, passing off to Gabe Landeskog. Really cool moment. But another big thing for me, my guy, Gavin Brindley, getting bumped up to the second line. I've been just hyped about this guy all season long, getting that opportunity to go up on the second line, playing with Brock Nelson, playing with Ross Colton. I thought he looked great. In fact, I would argue that might be the best, maybe second best game that we've seen out of Brock Nelson this season. I'm not saying the two of them coincide, but it may not be a coincidence that Gavin Brindley added a little bit of extra jump to that second line last night.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It was very cool to see Brindley, especially without Nichushkin, to just jump in and play very well. And, we had kind of chatted about, that was a salary dump. It's like, well, when you salary dump and you get a guy like that back in the trade, it's definitely a big deal. So my next question I got to ask you, are you clearing the calendar? Like, you on vacation in June? I mean, it feels like, Drew, we may have 2 parades. We may have a Nuggets parade and an Avalanche parade. I know the playoffs are a long way out and they have a lot of work to do, but they look like a absolute wagon at this point in time.
Yeah, and you talk about clearing the calendar. Mine's been set basically since the start of the season, because I've thought all along that this was going to be a team that was going to come out and dominate from the very beginning of the season. I think right now the Athletic has them projected as a 118-point team. Yeah. I mean, that's unreal to think that they can get 118 points.
Yeah.
That's absurd. But the only thing that kind of worries me with this team, I mean, we talked a little bit about the goaltending, and I think there's a few questions with that. Just it's injuries, because now Val Nichushkin, he's out. How long is he out for? That's the only thing that, to me, that can slow this team down. That there's just so many great things about it. I mean, you go out and you add a guy like Sam Girard line, who comes back and he's played 2 games last night, or played 2 games this season, comes back last night, just fits in seamlessly. You look at Sam Olinsky, the year he's having. Brent Burns, I was told that maybe, that the game had maybe passed by. He's 40 years old. You would expect nothing less. He looks fantastic. Can it last throughout the entirety of the season? I don't know yet, but I think if this team can figure out the power play, it's starting to look better. I know they didn't score last night. I thought the power play looked really, really strong and good last night. If they can figure out how to score on the power play, I don't see a team in the league that can beat them in a 7-game series. So I think we are very, very well looking at a big-time parade in June.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way, especially because when you look at it right now, the Stars are kind of scary, and I understand they've beaten the Avs in the playoffs the last couple of years. The Jets, whatever. You talk about the risers in the West that we've had some conversations about, but I don't see a team, to your point, that is going to beat them 4 times in 7 games. Like, it just doesn't feel that way, with health being the ultimate X factor. I get it, but yeah, dude, like, there's not really a team in the NHL that you're like, oh yeah, they're better than the Avalanche. Like, they look like the best team on the ice.
Well, I mean, who's the competition? Like you said, Anaheim is really good, but they've got to go through those steps to get to where the Avalanche are. Winnipeg, I think, is good. I just don't think they have enough firepower offensively to keep up with Colorado. I think there's only 1, maybe 2 teams in the Western Conference that can do that. I think Vegas is one of them that's going to be there at the very end if they can get their goaltending healthy ever. I think Dallas probably, although I don't know, Dallas for whatever reason this year, they haven't really impressed me all that much. I know they put up a 7 spot in Montreal last night against Canadians, but there's just something about Dallas that kind of seems to be missing this year. While I still think they're a really, really good team, they're not on Colorado's level. If Edmonton can ever get it figured out, I mean, they've been there the last 2 years. They could probably be there again. But again, like we talked about with the game last week, I don't trust Edmonton's defense. I don't trust their goaltending. They've been banged up as well this year. And then you go across to the Eastern Conference. What, Jersey? Is that the best team in the Eastern Conference? Like, that's a good team.
Before. We've listed a cup against the Devils before. We'll do it again.
Exactly. I mean, listen, that's a good team, but they're kind of like Anaheim. Like, they've got to go through those steps to get to the mountaintop. I think Carolina's a team that still kind of worries me a little bit out in the Eastern Conference, but they always seem to kind of falter once they get to the Stanley Cup Finals. So I just look across the board, and right as we see it here on November 14th, I don't see a team that can beat this Colorado Avalanche team if they are fully healthy going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know how we'll do it, but Nuggets parade Tuesday, Avs parade Thursday. Like, how's it gonna all work out?
Do you do a combined parade?
Yeah, will Kroenke want to do a 2-in-1 parade?
Why not? That'd be fun. Get the Nuggets and Avs fans together. Like, most people cheer for both teams anyway, so let's just do it all together.
Yeah, but wouldn't you want to go down there twice, like, and do it 2 separate days?
Listen, I'm a suburban guy. I don't want to have to go north of 225 as much as I don't have to. Not that I have anything wrong with downtown. I love downtown. It's just I don't like to go out of the suburbs all that often. So one time is enough for me.
Going full Brandon Stokely.
I know. Not quite.
Friday. All right, man. That was fun. We love watching the Avs right now. They are red hot. There's no doubt about it. The best team in hockey. Appreciate everyone tuning in, and make sure you subscribe, like, do all the fun stuff on YouTube, and we will see you on Tuesday for another edition of Mile High Hockey.